Hi, good morning. This is Natalie Armstrong-Motin with Marketing Resolution, and today is Marketing Monday. I love Mondays. I love getting things off with the right start. Got my cup of coffee here, ready to go, plan for the week, make things better, make our practices better, etc. All right. So today I want to talk about what mediators, you, can learn from a long ago retired waitress and how that can help you with your practice development. So I want to tell you a little bit of a story. When I was much, much younger, I had a really cool classic car. But I needed gas money. I needed gas money not just for a summer, but I needed gas money to last me throughout the school year. And regular gas at the time was 89 cents a gallon, which I thought was really expensive. But in this really cool car, I also needed to add aviation gas to the tank every time I filled up. And aviation gas was really expensive. I also had my eye on some new ski boots, skis, and poles, and a really cool stereo system that could play cassette tapes instead of just 8-track tapes. Now, I know that ages me a little bit, but that was a big deal when I was 14. At the age of 14, in order to get a job to earn the money for my wish list, I had to apply to the school district that stated that my parents said it was okay for me to have this job and that my grades were good, etc. And so it was quite a thing, but I was approved, and I was approved to work 20 hours per week. Big, big deal for a 14-year-old. So I got a job with Greg and Mary, who owned the Euro Shop downtown, a little Greek restaurant. And at this place, I earned $3.25 an hour, prepping food, cutting meat, the big long knife and the big wheel of meat, serving customers, cleaning, etc. And I had one summer, a big wish list. And so I really, really needed good tips. And of course, Greg and Mary, the owners of the restaurant, they wanted me to do a good job so that they had repeat customers who would not just brag about their food, but bring back their friends and be repeat customers, right? So what Greg and Mary taught me as this budding waitress was something called peak end. And I have no idea if they actually knew that that's what they were teaching me. What they were teaching me was just their experience in the industry. And it has paid off dividends for decades. And so I wanted to share that with you. Peak end makes all the difference in a service industry. Greg and Mary taught me that how customers felt at the peak of their dining experience, meaning the point at which the food was actually being served, and how they felt as they were getting ready to leave the restaurant were the two most important moments of my interaction with customers. So at this little Greek restaurant, there were 10 tables. Customers sat themselves. So the first smile that I could offer them was as they were walking through the front door, and then at the counter when I was taking their orders. And Greg and Mary taught me to not just smile, but make eye contact. The second interaction was delivering their food order to their table. Again, smile, make eye contact. These are such basic things, but really important. The third interaction, of course, was checking back in with them to make sure that their food was okay and did they need anything else. But before I did this, Greg and Mary taught me to take a beat, look at their table before I approached it. And not just look, but also listen. Were the customers engaged in a deep conversation that had maybe the appearance of not wanting to be interrupted? Or were they having a casual conversation and was an interruption maybe an okay thing? Were they sitting in silence? What was happening at the table? And then based on what I viewed, what I could hear, then I could determine whether or not I should approach the table ask a question of whether or not everything was okay, engage them in a little conversation, or should I assess that they didn't want to be interrupted and then just quietly, unobtrusively deliver what I thought they needed, refills, etc. If they were in deep conversation and enjoying themselves, then of course that was different than in a deep conversation that lacked enjoyment. And for those who didn't appear to be enjoying themselves, they might not appreciate an interruption of any kind, and not only not appreciate it, but they might really resent it. And Greg and Mary gave me these great tools. Again, not just for waitressing, but for also just in business in general. Once I learned to look and listen to the customers, I quickly figured out if and when I could interrupt their lunches and dinners, and then how. Sometimes I just looked at the table and noted that someone was running low on water, soda, coffee, etc., and then I delivered it silently without having to be asked. But one of the great skills I learned was delivering a little bit extra when customers were ordering their meals or just wrapping up their meals. And of course, that's the important part for my experience, because that was the moment that they were trying to figure out how much tip to leave me. Now, this whole thing is about how everyone likes to feel special. And for some of the bankers and lawyers who were the primary lunch and dinner crowd in the downtown area, they liked a little proof in front of their clients and guests that they were in fact considered special by the folks at the Euro Shop. So Greg and Mary taught me that, people can get lunch and dinner at lots of different restaurants around the downtown area. This wasn't the Cheesecake Factory that had a multi-page book of food choices. The Euro Shop had a really fairly limited menu. Think more In and Out than Cheesecake Factory. And so what was it that was going to bring the customers back? I mean, sure, the food was really good, but it was mostly how the customers would feel about their interaction with the folks at the Euro Shop. And people like to feel good. They like to feel special. And that was how we got people to return day after day, meal after meal. So what they taught me was, number one, no matter what mood you're in, when you show up in the parking lot, your mood at work will always be happy, welcoming, gracious, and grateful that we have customers to serve. So put on your happy face. And then mean it. Leave your mood, whatever it might be, in the negative realm, in the car, and share your good mood with customers. They genuinely feel your sincere happiness, and they carry it with them. And happiness is contagious. So make them feel happy. Number two, get to know your customers and their preferences. If you make eye contact, greet a customer with their name, remember what they ordered the last time they were in, ask them if they enjoyed that meal and would they want to order it again, or do they maybe want to try something new, and then make a helpful suggestion based on their preferences. And some customers like to chat and joke. Others just want lunch. They just want to eat and get out. So if you're not denying another customer good service by being chatty with someone, being chatty with a customer who wants to chat, that's great. Let them chat. But again, never at the peril of another customer. And communication is absolutely key here. Let me say hello to the folks in the chat. Good morning, Nikki. Good morning, Tina. Always so nice to see you guys here. So if you can chat. If you can't, you can't. But again, communication is key. So if you're unable to chat sort of at leisure, then pay the chatty customer a compliment of how much you like talking with them, but that you need to get to the other customers, get them taken care of, and then you'll be right back to hear them out. You're really excited to hear about their vacation or whatever their story might be. So for those who like to eat in undisturbed silence, it's okay to say outright that you think they want to be uninterrupted, and then invite them to call you over if they need anything. They will correct you if you've got it wrong. But regardless of their chat preference, they will still feel special and understood. The third thing that they taught me was never just stand around. Always be in motion. Clean something. That was a really big deal. Cleanliness, of course, is imperative in a restaurant, but the perception of cleanliness is not to be underestimated. And when customers see with their eyes that cleanliness is top of mind, they feel safe, they feel happy. The fourth thing that they taught me was if you make a mistake on an order, apologize sincerely, take full responsibility, replace the order ASAP, and then get them a dessert and a coffee on the house. It's cheaper to give a client a free baklava and some coffee and keep them as a customer than it is to find new customers. Your customers will feel appreciated. The next thing that they taught me was when a customer makes a special request, do it if you can. Special requests are only available at the Euro shop to the quote unquote favorite customers. And by the way, all of our customers were quote unquote favorite customers. But let them know that, yep, it's a special request, but for you, I'm happy to do it. Your customers will feel important. And then the other thing that they taught me was smile. Say thank you. Use or learn their name. Let them know that you're looking forward to seeing them again soon. Mean it. Empty platitudes are meaningless, right? Customers will remember how you made them feel, and how you make them feel will dictate whether or not they come back. And for me personally, of course, how much they might tip. Your customers will feel happy that they chose you. Now, how does this story of my first little job out in the world at a Greek restaurant waiting tables translate into your practice services and practice development? Well, I mean, of course, that's for you to decide, but you might consider how you can beef up your customer service, ask more or different questions before starting a mediation. That might include whether or not the attorneys or parties have any special needs. Learn and note their preferences so that you can best deliver on it. Think about how you'll recover from an actual or perceived misstep, how you're going to end your calls, your emails, your meetings, your hearings, and then, of course, how you're going to follow up with them. So this also might mean that you take a look at your quote unquote menu of services, and how easy is it for customers to hire you? How easy is it for them to fill out your forms? How easy is it for them to pay you? How easy is it for them to schedule a case with you? How well do you remember their preferences from the last time? And think about, I think, your experiences as a customer. Think back to all of the different service industries that you've used as a consumer. Think about what made you feel good or nonplussed or even disappointed. Use those experiences and incorporate the good stuff as best you can. Improve on the things that, are maybe leaving your clients nonplussed, and adios those things that don't make your clients feel good or special at all. So take it from a long ago retired waitress who earned enough in tips as a 14-year-old to buy those extra nice skis, boots, and poles, keep herself in gas throughout the school year, and bought a super rad stereo that played cassette tapes in just one summer's worth of tips. It is worth it to invest the time, the right attitude, a little looking, a little listening, responding appropriately, and leaving your clients feeling good about their interaction with you. And I think this is true regardless of the eventual outcome of a mediation. If your clients understand why the mediation didn't settle or why they quote unquote lost in mediation, they'll still feel good about your service as a mediator. So make them feel understood Make them feel heard, make them feel special, and mean it. You'll feel great about your service, and your practice will thank you. So to the LinkedIn user who just put in the chat, quote unquote, rad, yes, I am actually that old. So that is it for me today on Marketing Monday. Just a little story from the past to get us thinking about the future. Hope you have a great week. That's it for me. Be good humans. Bye-bye.